Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. What are you meant to do? I mean, look, the short answer is be better in the game of football. Try more to win. There is a huge, I don't know, an overriding sense of fear, I think, running through this football team at the moment. And I understand why. I understand where it's come from, but it needs to stop. And sooner rather than later, because if Liverpool want to be in a battle for fourth place, then continue to play the way they're playing right now. And I think they will be in a battle, not guaranteed fourth place. I think they'll be in a battle for it. I think Chelsea will be there or thereabouts. I think Man United might be there or thereabouts as well. And it could be one of those three teams. If at any point in the coming weeks, Liverpool decide to just be a bit braver and a bit more aggressive, there's a chance that they can kick on from that, but it feels fanciful to say it at the moment. I am consoled by the fact that, 5 weeks ago, saying the idea that Liverpool could go on a 8 or 9 game unbeaten run sounded absolutely ludicrous and impossible. So it stands to reason that their circumstances can change, can continue to change for the better. And there are, of course, mitigating circumstances. Liverpool, are going through something of an injury crisis at the moment, in addition to obviously Salah being at AFCON, which was a known thing. So I'm not sure how much of an excuse that particular element is. But they're getting players back who are not fully up to fitness. They've legged a few other players more than I think they would have liked. Ekitike not being available for today because of the injury to Isak means he's played more football and therefore he's more susceptible to injuries. That's the knock-on effect. Liverpool don't look fit, and some of that is the knock-on impact of injuries. Some of it is disrupted pre-season, and some of it is just, I just presume how they've been trained. They don't look super fit, they don't look super energetic, and we don't play a super energetic brand of football that's running them into the ground. We just look very mediocre in how we play. We don't play an exciting, energetic brand of football. We don't make it super difficult for teams to play against us. There's not a sense of, well, you might beat us with a moment of magic or whatever, but my God, you're gonna fall off that pitch and collapse into the dressing room like you've been in for the fight of your life. That doesn't seem to be Liverpool's way of doing things anymore. And you start to question whether that's Slot's way of doing things at all. Is that what he wants Liverpool to be? We don't press. We get bodies in a general position where if we wanted to press, we could, but then we don't pull the trigger, and what it leaves us is exposed. It leaves us with 3 or 4 players in advanced areas who are effectively like cones or dummies that get passed around, and then we've emptied the midfield or emptied the support in the midfield, and a couple of really obvious times Fulham just very simply played around us, and then they've got 20 yards to sort of run through on. It's so weird, and it's really disheartening to see because look, Arne Slot is Liverpool manager. He's won the league and he's earned the right to kind of cut his cloth accordingly. He's Liverpool manager. And he can do with it. It's his job to have and his job to lose. So he can choose to take whatever approach he wants. His approach in handling the crisis that he's gone through, and I keep going back to the issues with Jota and the psychological impact of all of that kind of stuff. This is how he's chosen to get Liverpool out of the mire, and he has. He's dragged Liverpool out of the mire. Liverpool were heading towards relegation form rather than anything like where they are right now. There is an expectation at some point that Liverpool will have to be more and better and more exciting and more dynamic. I am appreciative of it's harder to do that when you've not got a fully fit squad and a full set of players available to you. So I'm not hypercritical because of that. I didn't expect Liverpool to play miles better today than they did against Leeds, because with Cody Gakpo up front, we technically had a weaker side start than we started in that game, and a home game as well. A Fulham away game where we lost there last season was definitely more of a challenge. So I tempered my expectations, but I was still so bored by how much of what Liverpool did today again. And what it boils down to is, do you trust that it's going to get better or not? And ultimately, it doesn't really matter, because I guess it's down to whether Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes trust that it's going to get more and better, because it's their decision to make, not ours, unfortunately. I like football, I really do, and I win in football games, but I do like to enjoy watching the footy, and there isn't loads that's super enjoyable about how we're playing. I remember saying this again, I'm repeating myself from a number of videos ago, and I've said it a lot, like, our style of football was going to be more composed under Slot, which was going to make it less engaging, less fun, less entertaining. But if the ends justify the means, i.e. we win more games of football, we get less injuries, we win the big silverware, then cool, we can kind of all live with that. This is what happens when it doesn't quite go in your favour, and it's hard to hang your hat on what Liverpool are, what is our identity. You know, you can change formation all you want, but you've got to have an underlying philosophy beneath that, and I don't totally know what it is, and if this is what it is, I'm not sure I'm totally bought into it, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, I don't know. We were 5 weeks ago, we were dreadful, utterly dreadful, and we were losing games of football all the time. We're now not great, but we're not losing. If the mission statement for the season has been reset to get into top 4 as a minimum and then take the summer and add more and rebuild or whatever, then we are on track to do that. But playing for top 4 is just, it's not what we're used to. It's not what we've grown accustomed to. It's not what we expect. We have high expectations of what we want to see from Liverpool, and right now they're not really getting anywhere near those high standards. That being said, and I'm 6.5 minutes into a video before I will say the obvious, it was a tough game with injury issues. Liverpool go down and do well to get themselves back in the game. They get themselves level and they snatch a goal that should, by all accounts, have been a late winner. And you can go, well, not great, but again, the ends kind of justify the means. Add it to the list of the unbeaten run, and we've managed to get another win, 3 more points. We've solidified the top 4 position a little bit more. Cool. Move on to Arsenal. Can that be something? And then Harrison Reed scores that goal. And I don't think there's anything you can do about that goal. Maybe you could say close him down, but that is such a freak hit. It is such a generational, lifetime achievement of a strike that what are you going to do? You know, it's a smash and grab win that would have been treated as such if we got away with it. When you don't get away with it, does it mean that it's everything's therefore totally awful and that becomes on the back? Is that a goal that should cost a manager's job, etc., etc.? I don't think it will, and I don't necessarily think it does or should, but yeah, it will inevitably. When Liverpool aren't playing well and aren't winning, questions are going to persist, they're going to linger, and that's the really sad state of affairs of supporting Liverpool right now. Instead of getting to love our players and enjoy what we're doing and the match being, you know, a pleasurable part of our lives, we have to fill it with just bollocks conversations around stuff that we're not really prepared to. I'm not prepared to be having these discussions. We won the league last year. We should be kicking on, and yet here we are back in that mire that we spent most of the 2000s in. I don't want us to be there. I want us to get better. I think we will. But yeah, we're now in a situation where we go and play Arsenal, who are the best team in the league this season, by some distance better than what we've become this year. In years gone by, Liverpool might have engineered a win there. That still stands in the realms of possibilities, but I don't feel super confident going into that. And even if we were to get something, what would it mean? What would it matter? Hopefully it's a sign. We can create something that is a signpost towards Liverpool getting better. But yeah, just need to see us do it. Because yeah, it's a tough old watch at the moment. Poo in it, absolutely poo. I just want my exciting, fun Liverpool that wins games back. Please, if we could get that back, that'd be great. Yeah, nice one.